Live and to the people in person. We're excited to kick off this workshop now. Let's get started. Does everyone have Xcode ready to go? Yes? No? Show of hands? Okay, yeah, it's too late to say no. All right, so here's what we'll be making today. Do you guys have an iPhone cable? In our ongoing efforts to promote the World Cup, along with the Fulton Schools of Engineering, we'll be working on making an app for the FIFA World Cup, and I'm just going to show that to you in a second. All right, so here's the app that we're going to be making today. We're going to be making an app for FIFA World Cup. So you have the list of teams. You can pick a team. So I'm going to pick Senegal, and you have a description on that team, and also you can watch highlights for that team. So let's get started. Of course, this requires Xcode. I hope you all have it running by now. Some people still don't have it. I know it's a long download. It's a pain to install, but let's continue. So a little bit of context here. That we'll be learning the language Swift, which is Apple's own language, and we'll be using the UI framework SwiftUI, which will be used for making the UI, the front end of the app itself. So just a little bit of context, how it all started with SwiftUI. SwiftUI was launched 3 years ago. And before that, it was a little hard to make iPhone apps. But now that we've made the switch from a framework called UIKit to SwiftUI, it's a lot easier to make apps. And here's a little bit of context just to catch you up with what the industry's up. So as you saw, there's been a big improvement in the industry itself. Now, there are a lot of apps still using UIKit, but the industry itself is moving to SwiftUI, and that's why we want to teach you SwiftUI. There is a class that teaches you UIKit. It's called CSE 335, which I still encourage you all to take if you want to get a job in the iOS app dev industry. But today we're going to be starting with SwiftUI just because we can get so much done very quickly. So,
created in the 70s and 80s, and Swift.
So a quick introduction to Swift. Let's get started with simple syntax stuff. Prints to the console, prints hello world to the console. By the way, just a quick poll. How many of you here are CS majors? Okay, almost everyone. Cool. How many of you are grad students? How many freshmen? Sophomore? All right, cool. So yeah, print to the console. I'll show you where the console is. Use var keyword to declare a variable. Let allows you to declare a constant. And Swift is what's called a strongly typed language, similar to Java, where you tell what data type is associated with that variable. So in this case, my name is a string. So I use a colon right here to indicate that it's going to be a string. And then string interpolation has this syntax when you're trying to add the value of a variable in a string itself. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You have let apples equals 3, so this will be I have 3 apples. That's what it's going to equate to. So it's always a backslash, parentheses, and the variable name between the string quotes. Next, what we have is an array of strings. By the way, everybody good up to this point? Any questions so far? Cool. An array of strings. Now, to declare an array, what you do, it's very simple. It's very similar to Python, in fact. Just square brackets, your items, so eggs, bread, milk in this case. And then you have, a square bracket to tell that it's going to be an array of strings. That's the data type. You're telling Swift that it's going to be an array of strings. And then you can use the .append function to append an object to the list. And of course, the same way you print in Python, the first value, whatever's at index 0, you can do that here the same way. And of course, for item in shopping list, you can print item, and that's how you loop through it. Now this is a little different. Who here has done C or C++? Okay, good number. So a struct in C++ is different than a struct in SwiftUI. Swift, sorry. A struct here is more for declaring an object with just properties. So in this case, you can have person, an ID to uniquely identify it, a name that's going to be a string, an age that's going to be an integer, but you can have whatever properties. And also, what's very different from C++ in this case is that you can have functions in structs. That's not the case with C. You cannot have functions in structs in C, but in Swift you can have functions. And of course, the same way you can declare a variable right here of type person, initialize it with the struct with its values right there. Everything good so far? All right, so now's the time to open up Xcode, and I'm going to show you how to create a new project and just get the thing going. And if you have an iPhone, connect your iPhone to your computer using your iPhone charging cable. All right, so if you open up Xcode for the first time, you're gonna see the screen. Make sure you do not check watch, just uncheck watch, otherwise we'll have to wait 10 more hours for it to download. Just make sure iOS and macOS are checked, and let's hit install. And then it's gonna ask you for your password right here. I'm gonna type that in. Oh. Okay. All right, it's gonna install additional components. Give it a few minutes to do that. And once that's done, you're good to open Xcode. So when you open up Xcode, what's new in Xcode, just hit continue. And here, you can just click on create a new Xcode project. And then just click on app. Is everyone good up to this point? Anyone who needs more time? Email. Okay. I'll just go through and catch up. All right. So just click on app right here. And it's going to say, what do you want the product name to be? Just put in whatever you want it to be. In this case, I'm just going to put FIFA right here. And you're going to see organization identifier. Now, organization identifier is typically the organization you're working for. So if you're working for Google, you'll put com.google. Is typically the reverse of the domain name that you have. So you can even put edu.asu. But in this case, let me do DSC's organizational identifier. And after that, make sure interface is selected as SwiftUI, language as Swift, and then just hit next. And then just hit create. Okay, is everyone up to this screen? Is everybody up to the screen? Yes. Did everyone get the iPhone on their thing? In case you did not get the iPhone on your screen, just click here and just go to Canvas, and you'll be able to see the iPhone on the right. It takes a while for it to pop up. So is everyone up to this step? All good? What help do you need exactly? Anyone else? Need help? Okay. I'm just going to go around the room and do it quick. So if you're getting a very small window right here instead of the iPhone, what you gotta do, just click here and it should say My Mac. Instead of clicking My Mac, go select iPhone 14 Pro or something. Everybody got the iPhone? I'll get back to you later. Once you choose iPhone, it's not a deal breaker, but if you choose iPhone 14 Pro, you're going to see it in iPhone on your, or if you have your thing connected, I'll have you. All right, let's go ahead and start with some of the stuff here. So we've got a simple hello world, and we've got an image right here, and a VStack. And VStack stands for vertical stack, and we're going to come to that. Right now, just select all this code and hit delete. Or instead of deleting it, don't delete it. Never mind, don't delete it. Choose either your iPhone that's plugged in, or choose iPhone 14 Pro over here and hit play. And when you do that, it's going to start up iPhone simulator in the background. I would suggest choosing a simulator since that's like quicker. Sometimes you have certain settings you need to change with your iPhone to get it working. So if it's not working on your iPhone, then let's just do simulator. Oh, looks like my mic was okay. Does everyone have? Who doesn't have an iPhone popped up like this? The simulator, like it's a whole real iPhone. You got it? Okay. Can you help? Anyone else needs help? Anyone else needs help? So if you have the app ready. So you're going to run into issues with code signing later on. So I would recommend, if it's not working on your iPhone, just do it on the simulator. The simulator is pretty fast and efficient. Now let's do this. Let's minimize your simulator right here. Let's keep it on the side. We're not going to need it for a minute. Let's get a quick intro to SwiftUI. So this part right here is called the body. I'm just going to increase the font size. This part right here is called the body. And how many people here are web developers? Can I get a show of hands? How many web developers? Okay. So this part is called the body, and here's where you write stuff in SwiftUI that's going to be actually shown on your UI itself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all of this. And I'll see a bunch of errors here. That's fine. Once you've erased it, let's go back to the slides right here. And we're going to start off with a list. So I'm going to teach you how to make a simple list to start off with, since our app has a list, as you can see right here. So yeah, just a simple list. And all right, so just a simple list right here. We can populate this list with a few items like so. So you can have text, parentheses, whatever you want in it, and it's going to show up like a simple list in the body itself. And then what I can do, instead of having it like this, I can have it dynamic. So I can have it in a variable called shopping list, just an array of items. And then what I can do is I can write for each shopping list ID \self. And what ID means is that it automatically generates an identifier, because as you can see, it's only the name itself that's the identifier. That's a unique identifier for all these values right here. So you use \self for each, and then item in. So item becomes your iterator. So you can show it like so here. And I'm just gonna go to Xcode to show it to you now. So I can just type list, and I can just do text A, B, C. And you don't have to do this right now, just for demonstration purposes. If I reload this, I have a simple list right here. But what I can do is I can make an array. I'm going to call it teams list, and let's call it A, B, C. And what I can do is for each teams list, so every item in teams list, and I need to give that an identifier. If I don't, it complains. Item, and an item is, again, the iterator, the variable that you're going to use to refer to each particular element of this array. So I can do text, item, and there you have it again. So if I go ahead and I change this variable, I add E, F, and I save it, look, I have more items there now. And of course, I can use whatever .append methods on this to add to this list, etc. So that's lists, along with, that's lists in a loop. What I can do next is that in our app right here, if we go back to our app right here, do you see that we have this nice title, this list right here? I can tap to go to another screen. That's called a navigation view. This right here with the arrows and the nice links, it's called navigation view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a navigation view in my app right here. So navigation view. And you can start following from this part on. So let's start from the beginning here. And this is the part where you start writing code. navigation view. And then let's put a list here. And let's have for each teams list. id:/.self team in and text the team name. Now, instead of having my teams list in this file, I can create a new file and have my teams list in that file, and I don't even have to import that file. I can just directly get access to that variable. So what I'm going to do on this left side right here, this file navigator. By the way, are we up to speed here till here? Everybody good? Anyone need more time? All right. Right click here and click on new file and create a Swift file right here. Double tap, not a SwiftUI file, just a Swift file. And do teams, make it teams list.swift. And hit enter. And I have this empty file created. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my teams list here. Just give me a second. I'm going to have my teams list here. A, B, C. I do that. And this error should now go away automatically, and you have that same list again. Now what I'm going to do, for each team, I'm going to create a struct. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I need different properties for each team. So let's see, what do I have on the next slide? So let me build a team struct right here. And let's call this one ID. And I'm going to do UUID. This is going to be a type UUID.
What tab are you in on the left side?
Sorry.
What tab are you in? What sheet are you in?
Oh, teams list.swift, the new file you just created. It also says over here in the comments, teams list.swift. On that, it doesn't let me.
Okay.
It's just a new file right here.
What is UID? Is that like another class?
Yeah, so yes, UUID is a type for unique identifiers. It's a Swift type.
Is it UID or UUID?
UUID.
Okay. Okay.
And then I can do string. Let's leave that one empty. Let, string, description, string, flag string, and then video string. All right. So what this struct will represent is a single team. And you're going to have name, description, flag of the country, and the video we want to show in the next screen when we click on it. Everyone up to speed? Does anyone need help? Just raise your hand and one of the TAs will come to you. All right, everyone up to speed.
Okay, so once that's installed,
All right, I'm gonna go ahead with this. Now, instead of writing all team names and everything, I actually have that all prepared for you. So if you go to our website, asudsc.com, just click on download assets right here. Go to our website, asudsc.com. That's asudsc.com. Go here and click on download assets. When you click on download assets, you're gonna see all this code on the screen. Now what this is just a variable with a list of all the teams. So all you gotta do is just copy all of this and delete your team's list right here and just paste it there. So that you have all the list of teams and their description and their flag and their video. Once you have that, excuse me. Everyone, dude, how big do I make it? All right, everybody good up till now?
I'm getting an error for name.
Yeah, that's fine. So if you go back to content view, where your actual app design is, you're gonna see an error, and that's fine. And the reason why you're getting an error is because this is now a struct that you're iterating over. It's not just a simple array of strings. This is a struct that you're iterating over. So it's not gonna know that, okay, this team actually corresponds to this thing that we're trying to display here. So for that, what we're gonna do is instead of team, we're just gonna do team.name. And instead of /.self, we're gonna remove this ID because we already have an ID declared over here. So it's gonna automatically, it should automatically pick that up. Did it? Okay, it did not. A small change to the struct for that is that you gotta add identifiable. And when you do that, it should work. Yeah. So what an identifiable is, it tells Swift that, hey, use the UUID to uniquely identify this struct that we have right here. So now you can just do for each. And once you do that, you're actually going to see the list of countries in your iPhone simulator. Any other table that needs help?
They got tutor over there. Exactly like a frat tutor, right?
You can watch slides. Anyone who needs help. All right, I think, is everyone up to speed? Yeah. Anyone need help? All right. So now that people have their countries showing up, what we're gonna do is let's have the flags show up. So if you want the flags showing up, just do team.flag plus space plus this. And now you're gonna have all the flags show up in the list. So again, team.flag plus space plus team.name. And you're gonna have all the flags show up. And then let's make all of these items a link to the next page. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is navigation link, and then destination. And what destination is essentially, you tell SwiftUI that, hey, this is the next page to show when you tap on it. And then colon. And then we're going to put curly braces for now because we're not going to specify a destination. We're just going to make it a link. We're not going to specify the destination right now because we have to make that page. Let's have this here, and let's have this go in navigation link. And now you'll see that you have these arrows right here that are links to the next page. And when you click on it, it's going to take you to a blank page. All of these are going to be blank. So again, navigation view, list, for each. It has a navigation link inside of it that has a destination of just curly braces because we don't have a destination built yet. And then text is going to be team.flag plus space plus name. चलता है भाई So if you still haven't done it, When you download the assets from our website, put it in teamslist.swift. And if you need to go back and watch it, you can always rewatch the recording and catch up. All right. And then what we're going to do is, now that we have this navigation, we want to add a title. And what we're going to do is we're going to add something called a modifier. And a navigation view comes with a modifier called navigation title, which is going to modify that view and show that title on the top. So just right below the list, when you highlight this curly brace, you'll notice that the list curly brace highlights. Just here, put navigation title as World Cup teams, and you're gonna have it show up a nice top, huge title on the top. And when you scroll, it's gonna get small automatically, just like that. And once you have the navigation title,
when you do navigation title, is it the title for the navigation page, or is this the title for the list itself?
good question. So the thing is, it's a modification for navigation view, but the thing is, you would assume that okay, it's going to come after the curly brace that ends navigation view. As you can see, I'm selecting this, but it's right before that one, so it's actually in there. So I can just comment this out, for example, and you'll still see. Wait, let me just put a V stack here. But if I do it, look, you're gonna still see the thing, right? You just gotta have one element and a dot navigation title. It's not for the list.
It's for the navigation page.
Yeah.
Okay. And to transfer the data, you're just gonna create a label on the next page, and then that label dot.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to the next part. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the presentation.
Oh, yeah, right. You haven't initialized the structure for the teams list. Yeah, so it's just basically create a new file.
And then now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the next page of this app, which is gonna be when you click on it. And the way you're gonna do it is you click here, right click on FIFA, create a new file. But this time, instead of Swift file, this is very important. If you choose Swift file, it's not gonna be the right type of file. So you gotta do SwiftUI view right here. Scroll down and choose SwiftUI view while making this new file right here. And just name it team view. And make sure you name it exactly team view. Capital T, capital V, team view, no spaces.
Yeah, just copy.
Kind of like this, teamview.swift. That should be your next file name. So just go ahead, create that file, and hit enter. And now you have two views. Again, you have one that says contentview.swift, and the second one is teamview.swift, which just has hello world in it. So what we're going to do is, in TeamView, we want to pass some data onto this new view to be shown on the next screen. So what we're going to do for that, we're going to create the variable here for that. So above body, just do var selected team, and select the variable selected team is going to be of type team, because remember that struct we created in teams list right here? It's going to be of type team. And when you do that, you're going to get an error saying that selected team is missing an argument. Just click on the dot and just hit fix. and it's going to ask you to type team, and it's going to ask you to fill in the blanks. So in order to do that, because you have to tell SwiftUI, okay, if I'm previewing this app on the side, I want to see some variables populated into it. So just as a dummy variable, I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to copy Qatar from here. And then I'm going to replace it with this, with the selected team thing. And if you got back hello world, you did that correctly. All right, are we up to speed here? Everyone good? Does anyone need help? Anybody else need help?
It doesn't have to come back. I'll get back to you guys. Keep it up. Is that right?
Anybody else? Yeah, just copy that, yeah.
I think you should. I think your mind could have some errors.
Where's the teams list? Oh. Yeah. That was just auto complete thing. All right. So let's get to making the second screen now. So instead of text, what I can do is I can do selected team dot, and because Swift knows that it's going to be of type team right here, it can give me this autocomplete, which is the same as my struct right here. If we go up here, it's the same as my struct, so I can do selected team dot name, and when I do that, I'm going to see Qatar because that's what's being used for the preview here. But when I run this on my iPhone, if I go here, I run it on my iPhone, and I hit Qatar, for example. I think it did not run properly. Oh, the reason why you're getting that is because we haven't linked the two views together yet. And the way you do that is you go to content view, go back to this main screen that we had, the list of teams, and for destination, put team view, and it's going to ask for selected team. Just put that as team because that's your iterator, remember? So here's your iterator, pass that in as your selected team. If you double click it, you'll see all the use cases. Okay. Yeah, so team is used here, here, and here. And if I go back to team view, you'll see, now I can go ahead and run it. And if I click on Qatar, you'll see Qatar. If I click USA, you're going to see USA. So we have linked the two screens together and passed in our team properties. All right, just to reiterate what I did in content view to link the two screens together. Again, what you have to do is remember the destination for the navigation link. Again, the destination for the navigation link, we had that as empty. This is what we had, and we have to change it to, again, team view, selected team, hit enter to autocomplete that, and then just type team. And team is that variable that's in the iterator right here, in the for each loop, and what's being passed down to the next screen. All right, moving on, how to make the second screen. Let's start building that up. So in team view, you have this. Just go ahead and have the text as selected team.flag. Again, this should be in double quotes. And selected team.name, double quotes, and you'll see the flag pop up as well over here. So this is again the same string interpolation we talked about in Swift. So just have backslash selected team.flag space backslash parentheses selected team.name. And then what I can do is I can modify this text to have .font, .large title to make it big. And then what I can do is I can place this in what's called a V-stack. And again, V-stack stands for vertical stack. It's essentially this stuff. V-stack is essentially you have two views and they're stacked on top of each other. And H-stack is stuff stacked horizontally. And Z is, of course, along the Z-axis. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create a V-stack. I'm going to put text in the V-stack. But what I can do is now, since it's in a V-stack, I can put another piece of text right here, and I can do selected team dot description. And you're going to see the description of that team pop up, in this case, Qatar. Everybody good up to this point? Need help? All right, now that we have the description, what I'm going to do is that this screen looks very ugly. So let's make it look nicer. So to start off with, let's make the text more spaced out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this modifier called line spacing for text. And that's going to give the line itself, the text paragraph, more line spacing. And what I can do is to give spacing between Qatar and the description, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to add padding right here. Padding dot top, and then I'm going to do 20, and that's going to shift it down 20 pixels or whatever metric SwiftUI uses, 20 units. And then what I can do is that now you have it for the top. Let's give it padding from the left and the right so that it's not just sticking to the screen like that. So let's do dot lead. Now Swift doesn't have left or right. It has leading or trailing. So I'm going to do leading 20. Dot padding dot trailing 20, and that's going to give it spacing from, or padding if you will, from all ends.
So leading is tabbing on the left side and trailing is right side.
Yes, so leading is left, leading, and trailing is from the end.
And are you gonna put the video in between Qatar and description?
I'm going to put it at the top of Qatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice. That's fine.
Yeah, it's, so I can show you the app. So the app itself, so where is it? Yeah, it's running on my phone right here. If I click on it, the video, just to give it some more space and to have the country name, we're gonna have it like that.
Does it automatically scroll, or are you gonna have to add the scroll feature?
Yeah, the scroll feature, I'm just gonna get to, it's very simple to add. So once we have this, what we're gonna do is add a scrolling functionality right here, as you suggested. So what I can do is I can do scroll view, and then I can put everything in the VStack, everything including the VStack in the scroll view. So now you'll see it's at the top because now I can scroll right here. So if this screen overflows, you can scroll here. Everybody good up to this point? Does anyone need help?
This
All right. Let's do this real quick. Now we're gonna put the video here. So for that, we're gonna import a library called AV-Kit. An AV-Kit, of course, audio visual kit that comes with iOS AV-Kit. And once you import AV-Kit, you're gonna get video player. We're gonna do video player, and that's gonna be player URL string selected team, again the variable that we had on top, selected team dot video, and question mark this, and we're good to go. Oh, I messed up a bit. Oh, my bad. This is going to be AV player, and then this accepts a URL, which takes in a string, which is the selected team.video. And what I'm going to do next is question mark, double quote, and this, oh, actually, never mind, let's just do force unwrap. So what I've done here is what's called a force unwrap with that exclamation mark. Essentially, well, this is a topic for another time, and you should go look it up what it is. But essentially, unwrapping is when it's checking if a variable is empty or not at a point. And if that variable is empty at that point, what to do? Do you replace it with another value that's hard-coded, or do you crash the app? In this case, I've added an exclamation mark, which means crash the app. If this particular string is invalid, if it's not a valid URL, the app's gonna crash. Now you can avoid it through other means. I'm not gonna go over that since that's another can of worms. You can look up optionals. It's called an optional. And that's what most type-safe languages have. Swift is a type-safe language, and that's why you have the concept of optionals. It helps make better apps, but again, you have to code more for that. Question here. Okay, so if I hit play, I should see my video right here. Okay, the reason I believe I don't see the video here is because the height of the player is 0. Let me try it out. Okay, yeah, done. What's up?
I thought we just forgot to pass in when we were linking cat, we forgot to pass in the video. That's why we're not using it.
No, yeah. So remember you're passing in as a struct.
Okay, so it's struct. And then you can answer this video inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have this,
Okay.
this, one of that, right?
All right. So once this is done, you should be able to see the video itself right here. And I did someone here to play the video, so I think they're done. All right. Looks like a lot of people are up to speed. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and add the last piece of functionality over here, which is going to be our search bar for the teams.
No, it should be team.
And for that, we're going to go back here to content view. And in content view, I'm going to add what's called a state. And a state variable is essentially a variable that Swift watches for and updates the view accordingly whenever it's modified. So if you look at this, this is just a simple state variable right here. And whenever the button is pressed, the view is refreshed. You see that the counter goes up, and that's some sort of interaction that, okay, you've changed this counter. So this, whenever this counter is updated, it's going to change this counter right here. And that's done because of the state keyword, yeah.
So state, is that like a public variable?
No, it's totally up to you if you want it public or private. State is more like declaring, okay, hey SwiftUI, watch for this variable. Whenever it changes, let me just refresh the view. So for example, I have counter displayed over here in this example right here. Whenever this counter is incremented, it's gonna change. It's gonna refresh it. But if I remove add state from here, it's gonna be stuck on 0. It's gonna increment the variable, but it won't refresh the view. The view being your phone screen. It's gonna be your phone screen is gonna be stuck on an old.
On 0.
On 0, yes.
Okay.
And actually, I can demo it right now. I'm just going to create a new state test file. You guys don't have to do this one. If I go here, I add state, private var, counter, int equals 0. I add a button, call it string counter, and this is the label for the button, by the way. And whenever I tap the button, I want to add 1 to it. If I do that, notice when I click it, it's increasing the value. But if I remove state, if I cannot
You have to add self.
change it. Yeah, I cannot change as even if I add self, it's not going to work. So, sorry, what?
I think you went on top where it says button, you need self as
No,
well.
you don't need self for that. I think you're talking about here, but no, this self is automatically implied, so I can do that. It says self is immutable. Self is immutable means that it cannot be changed. So for that, you need to make it a state variable. And now you can change it.
So it's not even changing the variable value.
Yeah, it's changing the variable value and it's refreshing the view. Keyword, refreshing the view. All right. Now we're going to get to working on the search functionality over here. And for that, what we're going to do is we're going to add a state variable called state private var search text. I'm going to make it a string, and it's going to be an empty string for now. And what we're going to do, we're going to add a modifier to our navigation view, and it's going to be searchable dollars search text. And what the dollar sign is, essentially, it's called a binding in Swift. Essentially, dollar sign over here is kind of indicating that, okay, I can read from this variable, and I will write to this variable as necessary. So you can go home and look up binding, since that's out of scope of this introduction, but yeah, we link it. It's kind of linking that state variable to the searchable modifier right here. And as soon as I add a searchable right here, you can see that I now have a search box, and I can type in whatever. But whatever I type, it's not filtering these out, because we haven't indicated right now what to filter for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a search results variable right here. We're going to make it an array of teams, and we're going to declare over here that if search text is empty, which it is right now, then show us all the teams. Because right now you see that the search text here is empty, so just show all the teams. So I'm just going to do return teams list, because we're showing all the teams when nothing is in the search box itself. Is empty, my bad. Is empty. And then I do else. I want to filter teams list. And for each team, if team name contains whatever I search for. So again, going over this again, we have a variable called search results, an array of the team's struct. And if the search text is empty, which it is by default, just return the list of all teams. Otherwise, filter the list out with teams that have the name whatever you typed in the search text. And what you want to do now is make a small change to your list right here. Is everyone good up to this point? You want to make one small change. So change teams list to search results, because you always want to display search results. And the reason why you're doing this is because the search results variable, if the search text is empty, it's going to return the entire list of teams anyway. So you can just have search results here instead of the entire teams list. And when I run this, we have officially completed the app. So if you got to this stage, congratulations, you've completed it. And as you can see, I should be able to search for teams now. So I'm going to search for Qatar, and I can look up stuff. I click on Senegal. I can watch their video. And you have the description here. So I'm gonna be helping everyone from this point onwards. For the people watching live, let me see if there are any comments or questions. Oh, my bad. Let me just get back code on the screen.
I had
Yeah, this is just I have too many things on my plate. Wait, are you Sai?
no.
Oh, wait, sorry, what's your name? Parth? What company do you have in?
Oh, I don't need an intro for do you mind?
Oh, interview me? Yeah, sure. I'll be down. Yeah, just text me. Yes. All right. Cool. I know this is a bunch of nerds who know how to catch up. Awesome job. Sig term. So sig term is. All right, for those who completed it, congrats on your first app. It is quite a milestone to start with iOS development and get the smart head. So if you got the smart head, congrats. If you have questions, let me know.
वेरिएबल तो बनाया नहीं है
All right, thank you so much to everyone watching online. I'm going to end this live stream now. Be sure to check out the recording if you have any questions. Reach out to me on Discord or on our Discord, in fact. And thank you so much for attending this online.